Cherokee people, Cherokee pride, so proud to live, so proud to die. Run to the hills, run for your life. Folks, that's two songs central to this imminent persecution. I just had a meeting with Jonathon Labelle. He's been contacted by Canada's Prosecution Service agent head under Elections Canada, of course, attached to CSIS, and of course Mark Carney. Yes, his minister. I'm going to give this presentation. My prosecution's coming imminently, of course, after our petition. Canada wants to shut us down, but before I get into that, and I get into everything that's going on, I must talk about Markwayne Mullin, who is now going to be, at least to be confirmed, he's been called upon for March 18th. Too little, too late for us, I'm afraid, myself and Jonathon Labelle. And I'm going to give this presentation to everybody. It's to take me down. It's the government of Canada. Yes, on my spoiled ballot, my public voucher ballot, that it's just so evil. America is evil. America must die. We must shoot the embassy, turn into a terrorist, kill America, Canadians, First Peoples. You must have that in your mind. China good, USA bad, kill America. That's what Mark Carney wants. And anyone who doesn't fit the mold with Mark Carney, who doesn't want to stand with him and his regime, who resists will be taken down. And unfortunately, folks, there's nothing President Donald J. Trump, Mark Rubio, Pete Hegseth, or anybody else except Homeland Security and the coming rising of Cherokee Indian Senator Markwayne Mullin. And unfortunately, folks, it may very well be too little too late. The government of Canada is absolutely looking to get this done and get us done and gone. Examples for all Canadian subjects, all Indian savages in Canada. You will see the examples. You will see, don't you do it. Don't you ever support the United States, that evil empire of old, blah, 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 blah. And it's unfortunate. American democracy takes time, folks. We also have Democrats, because you need a 60 Senate majority to get topics of money passed. Homeland Security's down, folks. Homeland Security's been down for well over a whole month. And the Republicans are resisting, even with majority, but you need that 60 seat of 100 threshold, which they can't get. And because of that, Canada is fully empowered to take out myself and Jonathon Labelle. And I'm going to now, after I talk to Jonathon, who have asked to do a number of things, and I accept anything Canada wants to do against any First Nation persons who's ever followed me. And I just want to give this story to everybody. Jonathon Labelle is an immaculate named treaty Indian, high intelligence, high skill set, actually operates and works in the GTA in the regular system off reserve. He does that. He does a phenomenal job in his industry. Top of his work, top of his industry. He is well respected, well known, doesn't run on any racism or race privilege, just wants freedom, a God-honest and goodness Indian should be citizen, deserves it, worked hard his whole life, raised a beautiful family, great children. He has felt the wrath of Indian racism from the Crown, his whole family, in fact, his whole life. Never lets it put him down, stands to deliver, and he did monumentally in residential school Genocide. He joined my team through COVID. I met his family here in Ontario. He joined us, named Robinson Huron, joined us, got involved, took over residential school Genocide, led an entire team of First Peoples investigators. Yes, I organized it. Yes, I did a lot of the design, but Jonathon Labelle, everybody, went Reserve Chief Indian by Reserve Chief Indian, accomplishing monumental teachings, getting massive meetings right across this country like no one ever before him, activated First Nations who got tremendous payouts. And that isn't all of it. Jonathon gave the full presentation of what the world is supposed to be, what's supposed to be for Canadians and First Peoples, gave it at the chief level, scored massive wins like no one I've ever seen before. Most unfamous, but yet famous amongst First Nations, and those who followed him, followed the things that I designed and we put through together, which he presented, he delivered. We did those meetings even in Zoom or in first person right across Canada. Jonathon Labelle is a hero. And yes, he did my voucher ballot. I asked him, well, I'm a Canadian citizen. I went through the process. I'm supposed to get an out-of-province ballot. Canada decided I don't deserve one, even though I was born in Canada, raised. I followed their legal system. I applied in everybody an April snap election for Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada. And I was there. I delivered myself. I followed their laws, their system. Apparently, I was booted off the list, even though I'm a Canadian citizen. That's how it works. If you want to believe in citizen, if you want to believe that, because we're subjects and subject to the Crown, whenever they say, you get, you don't. And I didn't get. And I didn't invent the voucher ballot system. I spent 14 months at Darlington Nuclear under OPG, working for a subcontractor where I had an employment letter stating my 14 months of solid, full-time employment in the province of Ontario. Have not filed my taxes to date. I often save tax years for many years when I want to amass funds and maybe put a down payment on something. At least in this country, you used to be able to do that. You could do that and turn around and put a down payment for a home. That's not possible for Canadians anymore. Mark Carney, when I was denied my legal right to a mail-in ballot that should have been sent to me, there was the voucher ballot system, utilized throughout Ontario and Quebec at unprecedented rates to rig elections. I didn't invent it. I didn't create it. But I had my 14 months at Darlington Nuclear, full-time, living in Ontario, full-time for 14 months, meaning well over my 1 year period. I got that letter from my work. It came with my work badge, photo ID, military, police, security clearance. I went to that with Jonathon. We met. He did my voucher, showed them my letter of employment, showed them my work ID badge. Yes, that's me. That's my photo. And they allowed me to sign on to the voucher ballot, where I went and spoiled it publicly and put Canada, the 51st state, PCC, Party of the Canadian Constitutionalists. But because I want Canada, the 51st state, the government of Canada says, you will never, no matter how many of our laws and rules you follow, which you did, you passed everything. You should be a registered party. You did what no average working person ever did. You did every province and territory, and you signed up the minimum signatures in every province and territory. All of them. By a lot. I did that. Did everything else. Crossed my T's, dotted my I's. There was one small little hiccup. You need an accountant. And it has to be an approved federal accountant on our list with this designation. They must operate in a province and have this corporation registered. And we'll tell you who that is. Here's our list. And every single one I went to, way beyond all my signature drives, which took a lot. I did that through COVID. And I kept on, and I kept going. I still signed people up. We're way over our threshold. Average, everyday Canadians, real citizens. And so I went about my way. I tried to get that done. And none of the accountants will sign on with us. Nope, no way. Crown says no. We're Crown sworn, we won't do it. America, bad. China, good. That's where we're at. And now, because Homeland Security is down, Markwayne Mullin has to go on March 18th to be confirmed. Canada has this wide window to launch their prosecution against my friend Jonathon Labelle, named Treaty Indian, under the Indian Act, federal ward, where they can persecute him, prosecute him, summons him, subpoena him, even issue arrest warrant, which they've already started threatening him. Nothing to me yet, but it's the same investigator who's initially assigned to me. He's going through Jonathon Labelle, named Treaty Indian, with no J Treaty rights, at least not in Canada, meaning no American Indians can come to his behalf or get him out. They can't even come to get him. There's only one, and that would be Markwayne Mullin, Senator of Oklahoma, now head of Homeland Security, but he's not confirmed yet. And the Democrats have locked out any ability for any funding, locking out Homeland Security entirely. Our only salvation. Remember, Jonathon Labelle went to all the chiefs across Canada with his First Nations team, built all across Canada, meaning we had numbered Indians, named Indians, Métis, and Inuit. That's the team I assembled from all the First Peoples, and we did a deep dive on residential school genocide, teaching every treaty chief, whether it be Métis, Inuit, numbered, named, seated or unseated. We hit them all. I visited them all as much as I could as I went across Canada, as many as I could. And I brought that team with me where I could, and even online. And we landed a devastating blow against the government of Canada, which now wants to land a devastating blow against Jonathon Labelle, named Treaty Indian because he represents a great threat, as do I. And that's where we're at, with no hope, no salvation. I work tomorrow because I got to earn. I'm going to get on the petition tonight after this video, work on it again tomorrow night and all Sunday, and try to have that done by Monday. But the Crown of Canada has full reign of terror, and there's nothing the United States can do about it. Now, I give you the Cherokee truth was Cherokee people, Cherokee pride, so proud to live, so proud to die. And they were ready, as Jonathon is to sacrifice everything that kills me. And the government of Canada knows that. Look what we're going to do, Indian lover. Look what we're going to do to the person you care about the most. Look what we're going to do to him. You know? This is such an evil shit country, and so many have no idea. When you stand against the Crown, they will smash you down. I don't know how after COVID-19 a majority of Canadians don't see it or know it. And because the Crown was confident in so much institutionalization that they will do whatever the fuck we say now, they're ramping it up. Mark Carney's blowing so much money that all future generations clearly don't have. If you're living in today, working, and I'm one of them on some of these projects here in Canada, understand that you're the last of it. Your kids have no hope in hell, whether they're Canadian or First Person. And if you think First Peoples are getting rich, sure, there's some payouts over some horrific atrocities, but in international law, that is to come out of the politicians, the human rights criminals. You know, like Supreme Leader, they're supposed to pay for it, even with their life, and then you're supposed to liquidate everything they held. Well, not in Canada. They're liquidating all Canadian subjects, dividing more, hate more Indians. Subjects hate the Indians, even though all the Crown lawyers, all the offices listed here, and then many, many more appointed, are getting stinkily rich. As your children, your grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will have less than nothing. They will be third world. And look at India and its system. Sandals, Arctic sandals for the kids of tomorrow. My children, your grandchildren, my eventual grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever. They will live with nothing, less than nothing. They will have an unbelievable amount of debt assigned to them at birth. A crippling debt. And they will live terribly in the lands reserved for the slaves. Slave lands. Not effectual lands in reasonable prices. Slave lands. And even worse are the confined savages on 0.35% in Canada. And they tell you that that's all their lands. Oh, yeah. They got a different name. Did you know, depending on what province you go to, there's numbered, unceded, Métis lands, overlapping all these lands. But at the end of the day, legally, they're Crown, provincial, and federal Crown. Federal and provincial Crown lands right across Canada. They don't give it to any Indians. They don't give it to any Canadians. You're slaves and you're savages. That's all you'll ever be. And what we've done in the last 5 years has rocked their system. And now the evil tyrant Mark Carney is coming along to make an example. If you're a First Person and these ideas of freedom or the idea of America and equality, if you subscribe to that, you will end up like this filthy fuck savage. Or if you're a Canadian subject and you like the idea of these rights and these things in America appeal to you, you will end up like this fucking subject. And we will show you in our kangaroo court with our kangaroo prosecutors, and I say that everybody legally in common law for the umpteenth time in Canada is the law of precedent. But what do you do when the Crown, after Donald J. Trump's election, literally within 1 week, it was coming up to Christmas, 2024, November, Donald J. Trump wins the office of president. No country crapped their pants bigger than Canada. Canada's shit everywhere. The Crown did. And they all got together, Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre. Quickly, folks, we need to pass this in majority now. Well, everyone's distracted. We're creating a brand new court appointed. We're reassigning CSIS another office with Elections Canada and the Commissioner. And we're going to have a new Prosecutor's Office of Canada. Hey, everybody, it's so new. They only got 438 followers. 150th the size of Dave Bjorkman's following. But we're giving them the key to prosecute these subjects and savages. In a kangaroo court with no precedent, you get to make the precedent. And CSIS and RCMP get to investigate and do as they see fit, as there is no precedent and no rights, especially for a named treaty Indian. Folks, I can't make this stuff up. It's happening. Just met with Jonathon. He's been hammered pretty hard. Same guy who's investigating me from the beginning is now assigned on him. Summons. Is it coming? Is it going to be an arrest warrant? Is it coming? Is it going to be a subpoena? Which is the same thing. We'll see. We're going to find out. But it's already started. The process has started. They're coming hard. They're coming fast. And this is your shit country, Canada. Remember, shoot up. Go shoot up. Get your guns, your car. Go to the U.S. consulate in Toronto. Bam, bam, bam. No one got any. Oh, we don't know. We can't. Our investigation didn't. We don't know. We know the car. It's a registered handgun for a legal firearm owner, which no Canadian in their right mind would ever do because they've been banned for 2 years. Yeah. Criminal to have a handgun now and go use it. Nobody would do it. So a criminal did it, right? It was an illegal criminal who shot up the embassy. Oh no, why would the illegal criminal want to support the government against the United States? Why would they do that? Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, they didn't take credit for it. They always do. That's their way of ramping it up. So they didn't do it. And there's no way in reasonable hell a registered legal firearms owner would do that, because you're risking a lot. And we know what happened to our restricted firearms. I know I had a restricted license. I had handguns. They're all gone. Mark Carney's predecessor ruled those illegal. We lost those a long time ago. So I'm scratching my head. No Canadian in their right mind would do it. That only leaves the government themselves, the Canadian government. People try to say Americans. Well, Americans wouldn't do that. Why would they risk killing their own ambassador? And why would they give a shit about Canada? You couldn't even get Democrats to agree to that on the most radical side. That only leaves the government of Canada. Really, at the end of the day, in their elbows up and their radicalization. You've seen it from all the premiers. You've seen it in Mark Carney. Now he's debt loading you beyond all measure, way far past anything that was in the budget. That's the largest deficit that matches a 1982 total debt of all of Canada since its beginning. And that's now on an annual basis. And Mark Carney's not even done. He's like, we're going to explode into a million other areas. Oh, really? Where are you going to get that money? This really smells like Texas. And now you want to put down everybody who stands against your bullshit, your total lies. You're scared of a lowly welder? You're scared of a lowly caulking tradesman? Wow. Subject and an Indian-defined savage. That terrifies you, Mark Carney? Why would it? Is it because you're a genocidal maniac? Of course it is. Of course it is. This is where we're at, folks. I don't know how many days I have left. I'm going to get through the weekend. I'm going to get all my petition done. There's no bailout from America for myself or Jonathon Labelle, which I would rather see a bailout for Jonathon, and that only comes from Homeland Security, and that ain't coming, not this week, and maybe not next week either. And even if he gets ascended, which he probably will, there's the other matter that, what about the funding of Homeland Security? The Canadian Crown has us in a rock and a hard place, and literally it's the Iron Maiden song, run to the hills, run for your life. And that life is America, something myself and Jonathon are not eager to do because our families are here, our children are here. Folks, that's my video. Can't make this up. Real, credible, truthful. The government's terrified. Obviously, they're coming full tilt now. They certainly don't like the petition. They don't certainly want any Canadians or First Peoples to know any truths we're sharing, backed up from the world, not the institution called Canada. But this is where we're at. This is the fight. Many civil rights activists long before me went through all this, and then much worse, because it goes so far in martyrdom where they just say, just kill those fucks. Just kill them. And they will. And if you don't believe that, just wait and see. God bless. Love you all. That's my video. That's where we're at. Stay tuned for my emails. I'm going to be hammering that out. It's been a hard day, hard days, and hard more. And it just doesn't end. Your government is terrified. They're coming hard. And just be ready so you all know. This is to market. This is like a journal. This is for all of you. I ask Jonathon Baha'i, please upload it to X, the video. I ask you, Ian Bjorkman, please upload it to YouTube. Keep it for posterity. It's like a journal. It's a log of events, points in life, and this is a doozy, and I want every Canadian, every first person to know. You need to know the evil's there. Whether you like me, love me, or absolutely hate me, which people do, you don't know the half of it. You don't know the real truth of your government and the institution of Canada. You don't. We've ruffled feathers. We've been doing it for years, and it all comes together at one time, and the government's desperate. And desperate times call for desperate measures. And if they can't get some kangaroo court conviction, it's kill those fuckers. That's really what they'll do. And I hate to say that, but all history shows us that's where it's going. Love you all. I'll see you soon, especially petitioners. Get ready as I start answering emails, building that, and we'll get that out next week for sure. Love you all. Bye now.